Hello and good day. On today's video, we will take you from start to finish the aging, butchering, smoking, searing, and cutting of one whole Costco Prime bone-in ribeye. And here we are opening the package and seeing what's inside. Going to pat this down a little bit. Take a look at the other side, a very nice fat cap. Pat this down as well. And you can get a sense of how great the marbling is on this cut of beef. Another view from the side. Next, we'll take our meat hook, find a good spot on the bone. I find I get the best aging results when the meat is actually hanging. We're going to bring it over to our improvised aging location. This is just essentially a mini fridge with a refrigerator rack that I've bent to hang the meat on. You will also find a little desk fan in there, and in subsequent pictures you will see a small bowl of salt that will help control the humidity inside the mini fridge. And this is where the ribeye will stay for about the next 40 days. Here we are about 1 week in, and we can start to see some nice desiccation on the outside. Here's 3 weeks in. Desiccation continues. And here we are, taking a look 6 weeks later. The big fat cap here was really key, because the more fat cap you have when you start cutting, the better yield you'll get on the ribeye. You can see small bits of mold. That's perfectly normal, perfectly healthy. We'll be trimming all this off. And here we are with my Jason Voorhees style machete, going to work and trimming the outside desiccated portion of the ribeye to reveal the delicious aged interior. Times like this, I wish I had a dog for all of these pieces of ribeye bark. And you can see as I cut this away, you're beginning to get a sense of how great that marbling is inside. Typically, I will trim the outside very well, cut this into individual bone-in steaks and roasts, and then finish the trimming once we've cut them into the sizes that I've wanted. Another option, I didn't do it here, but you can take that fat and render it and use it for many great purposes. Whenever we sear the steak that we have here later on, we will use some rendered beef fat. Always helps magnify the flavor. Using the aged fat, you're going to get a little bit more of that funkiness from the aging process. Here we are cutting off the first roast. And take a look at that marbling inside. Absolutely spectacular. So that was a roast I cut. The rest of these will be individual bone-in steaks. Fairly decent size, feeds 2 people pretty easily. And we will go and just do a little bit of extra trimming work on these before we pack them up and put them into the deep freezer. But one is going to stay here that we will take through the cooking process. But take a look at those, just stunning. And so this is the one we'll be prepping to cook. And so give it a good snowstorm of salt. Salt Bay is in fact wrong. You need to salt your meat before you cook it. But he's the millionaire and I'm not, so what do I know? So this is going to go into the fridge overnight. Big healthy dose of black pepper. The wire rack helps the outside of the steak to dry, and that will help you even more with the sear. So here we are the next day. And into the smoker to a temperature of about 125 degrees. There we see some good color from the smoke. And then the sear is really just going to amplify that color. It's going to look really, really nice when we're done. So here we are. That's a big clump of beef fat that we have rendered before this. Get that carbon steel griddle screaming hot. After we've patted down the steak, we begin the searing process. The surface is a little uneven, so we use the bacon press here for a little bit. And we're just going to do grand total of about 2 minutes a side with pretty frequent flips. The more frequently you flip your steak during the searing process, the less chance you'll get of having some gray band, which we always try to avoid. Here's a little glob of butter to help with the caramelization and searing process. We're just going to keep moving that around the hot oil. Always want to make sure you sear the sides as well. That sear is really, really starting to look nice. Okay, here we are, complete. Take a look at that sear all around. We're going to let it rest just a little bit, then we're going to see what we have inside. Moment of truth, as I'm fond of saying. And we see some nice pink there by the bones. Now let's cut into that cap. Boom. Perfect, perfect medium rare. Got the smoke infused in, and then a really wonderful sear. Well, there you have it from start to finish. One whole Costco prime bone-in ribeye that we have aged, butchered, salted, peppered, seared, and sliced for enjoyment. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Take care.